Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome in to another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I am here with Robbie Bobby. You're freezing on us.
Again?
Bro.
Come on.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I thought I had it fixed.
What's up?
What's up,
What are you
Mario?
doing?
I'm good. What's up?
I'm doing well, man. I took my dog to my parents today. Got gonna be gone for the weekend, so I miss her. You don't see her on my couch. She's gone.
Where are you going?
Going to brother-in-law's for a Friendsgiving.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds like a good time.
I'm making the cheesy potatoes, dude.
That's your
They're
specialty?
fire. Yes. It's pretty simple, though. It's nothing special. But they are good.
I'm the turkey guy.
Dog, that's the worst part, though.
I make it good, though.
How good? You deep fry
Very
it?
good. No, I haven't done that. I want to. I smoke it sometimes. Like the breast. I'll smoke a breast, or I'll do it right. I'll inject it. I'll do all the fun stuff.
I mean, I'm pretty pumped. We're past Halloween now. We're going into Thanksgiving time. We get to talk about good foods. Maybe we'll bring back the fantasy bye week. What was it? The side special that we did?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do. That was a great.
And I got harassed for saying lasagna.
Yeah. The Italian sides.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this tweet out. My Thanksgiving is so different. I feel like it ain't even Christmas. Like Christmas, we have raviolis. Thanksgiving, we have lasagna. It's very Italian.
Oh, it's always. I have a lot of Italian stuff.
Yeah,
always, every time.
good.
Yeah, lasagna is usually a staple at both.
Oh yeah. I can't remember I don't know if we do lasagna on Christmas. I feel like we've done it, but recently my dad's gotten into the 7 fish.
Oh no, not my cup of tea. No,
you don't like fish?
Nope.
None.
I like sushi, but that's about it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising because I feel like you're not a very picky person.
I'm not.
What's up, Albert?
I'll usually eat whatever, but fish, it's not my thing, man. I don't know. I can't get into it.
Jess and I drove from Vermont to Massachusetts, which isn't far, but where we drove was about 2.5, 3 hours while we were on vacation just to get that fresh fish, get that fresh seafood.
It's a bold move.
Yeah, the fish is. I started getting into fish recently. I love it now. Most of it. Some of it's too fishy. Like salmon's still a little too fishy for me. We got a new type of episode today. I've been mentioning it on all of our episodes. We've been switching up some of the format to kind of keep things a little bit more exciting. Today, what we're going to get into is Robbie's got his list of best plays. He's got his list of best sits. And then we're also going to talk about some DFS plays. So we're really going to get in a little different, kind of highlighting some of these guys. And like, we want this to be any questions that come in, start sit, like kind of combine and everything to just talk about week 9 all together instead of just running through the games and doing a preview where we're saying, yeah, start or sit, you know?
Yeah. Get your start sit questions in if you're with us, like send them over. We'll get to them. That's kind of how we want to do this episode from here on out, is kind of get more in depth with the decision making as opposed to like, yeah, this guy's going to be good for this game. So like those are the key points that we want to get to. I'm with you. I like it. I like the setup.
I do too. And I know I'm lacking on my list, but I'll have more to bring next week. Speaking of, let's get into that. So right off rip, we're going to talk about your best, and I'm going to probably bounce around rather than staying in best plays, best. Like we're going to do it positionally, I think.
Yeah. And I want to preface, like, I'm not going to talk about Patty Mahomes. I'm not going to talk about,
unless he's a
Nick
sit.
Chubb. Yeah,
Unless he's a sit, right?
there's a crazy opposite side of it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I want to keep it to maybe the players that we're kind of debating between. So like the borderline start sits, the guys that I think might have a better game than they've had in the previous, couple weeks.
Which this first one is funny that it's even on this list.
It is, but I think I've been talking about it. Like I don't see him. So let's kick off with it. Justin Herbert. So I think he's gonna have a great game.
That was your intro. That was
my intro to the first quarterback is Justin Herbert. Nice little intro. Yeah. He hasn't been great this season. Like we've talked about it a ton of times. He's been okay. That rib injury really did something, I think. Keenan's been out.
Now
Keenan's out and Mike Will's out. And that's another reason I have him on the list. I still think
Keenan's not officially out yet, but yes.
No,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's out. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I know. He re-aggravated it, so he might be out another 3 weeks, dude. Like, who knows? Might as well put him on IR at this point. But yeah, Herbert. I mean, he's going up against Atlanta. They've given up the most passing yards in the league and the fourth most touchdowns. I know he doesn't have his normal complement of receivers, but look for Eckler to step up. Look for Gerald Everett to step up. I like DeAndre Carter. Mario hates Josh Palmer. I'm kind of in that camp too.
The opportunity will be there this week, though. Like
I think he'll have a decent game. Like, don't get me wrong. It does feel
like a trap. It feels like such a trap.
I think he'll have a decent game, but I think the expectations for Palmer are going to be like, he's going to have 10 for 100 and a touchdown. Like, I don't see that happening.
No, it's like 5 for 53 and you're hoping a touchdown on 10 targets.
Yeah. So I think the other players are going to be great plays. Gerald Everett, Austin Eckler. I mean, he's the RB1, so like, don't even need to really talk about it. But I think he's going to get a ton more targets this week. And I personally like DeAndre Carter. I think he's a good play this week.
Yeah, and I think this is really, and I'm surprised that this, especially you kick off with this, and there's no hesitation there, but Justin Herbert, like to proclaim like he's an absolute start in most situations, you're starting him. You just trust Justin Herbert that way anyways.
Yeah.
But Robbie's saying like this is a must start. And the thing is too, Atlanta stays in games. And anytime your quarterback is in a game, you're feeling really good about your odds for fantasy, at least from the quarterback position. It sucks watching a team go ahead and you just watch your quarterback hand off the ball for the rest of the game.
Yeah, like the first half, they're up 30 points, and then the rest of the game, you get nothing.
Scary for Jalen Hurts tonight.
Yeah, Hurts, A.J. Brown, all those guys.
Robbie, do you guys like Duvernay this week? Albert asks.
We'll get there.
We will get there. I love him.
Yeah, we'll get there. He's on one of the list. I won't.
Oh.
I don't want to spoil.
All right. Well, I love him a lot.
But yeah, I love him. In case you're not going to be with us, I love him.
I also like Isaiah Likely, but maybe not this week. I understand. Go to another quarterback that you have on your list.
Yeah, Justin Fields. I've been pumping the Justin Fields train. Chugga. The past couple weeks, man, I've been all.
It was rough. It was rough for you guys in the beginning.
Yeah, and I was almost ready to jump ship.
Oh shoot! You were making the face.
I was there.
Toot face.
Yeah, I was there. But now he's finally doing what I think a lot of people anticipated coming into the season. Miami gives up the fourth most passing yards. Do I expect him to light it up? No. I mean, he's that's not his game. But they're going to be down a ton. He's going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to be running the ball a lot when they're down to get past the sticks. Look, I expect a big game this week from him.
the over under on this game is 45.5. So a little bit lower, but Justin Fields isn't necessarily your prototypical going to throw 300 yards. He's going to get a lot on the ground.
Yeah, I think he'll find the way to get in the end zone with his legs again, and then I think he'll at least have 1 or 2 touchdowns in the air. And if he could get 250 yards, 180 yards on the ground, a couple touchdowns, like that's a very good week.
I also want to make this comparison, and I'm pulling it up now, but I think it's very noteworthy. But again, earlier in the season, though, Lamar Jackson tore up this offense or defense. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, that's a guy that you're like, obviously, Justin Fields doesn't run like Lamar, but Lamar was able to stick 318, 3 touchdowns through the air, but also to get 119 and a tutty on the ground on just 9 attempts.
They're very good against running backs, but they are susceptible to a running quarterback, especially one like Justin Fields that he will have designed runs and they're going to be okay. I think the defense will be okay against them, but I think he is going to be special this game when he's in the pockets and he can't find anyone. He'll scramble out and find.
He's going to have to. They're going to pressure him.
Yes.
Next one's a huge shock for me because, I mean, I get it, but it's been a rough year.
It has. Aaron Rodgers.
This is the get right game, right?
Like, this is the get right game. Aaron Rodgers against Detroit. Dude, Detroit's defense is terrible against the pass. Like, we've seen this over and over again. They just fired their DB coach. And,
it's high.
For how bad Detroit is, Detroit's offense is going to put points up. They're going to put points up. What does that mean? Aaron Rodgers has to throw the ball. So, I like it. I like my odds. Lazard should be back. Tunyon should have a very good game. And Romeo Doubs, look out. I think he's going to light it up this week.
Ooh, that's good. I just pivoted to him, and I'll explain that in a minute too, or more than a minute. This is tied for the highest over-under this game at 49.5. The Chargers-Falcons are also at 49.5, and so is the Seahawks-Cardinals. Nothing's higher than that this week, but, I mean, that's a high over-under.
High over-under. I expect it to be a high-scoring game. And again, man, I just think Aaron Rodgers is starting to get some chemistry with these receivers. So this could be the game where, like, he has his last season games and, his MVP season games.
I saw on Twitter, and I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but Tunyon has gotten 22 targets over the past 4 weeks. And not only has he gotten that many targets over the past 4 weeks, but also the Detroit defense gives up, I want to say it was the 4th most to inline tight ends. And he lines up quite a bit in line rather than slot. So, I mean, A-Rod will have some weapons. If he has Lazard back, Dobbs is, like you said, connecting. This could be a huge game for them.
Well, I do have Tunyon in my start tight ends, so
we'll get there.
It all comes together, baby.
Do you want to do a quick hit on your real deep for the last quarterback?
Yeah, like if you're struggling, you need a real deep quarterback play, maybe a 2 QB leaguer. Andy Dalton against the Ravens. Ravens give up the 3rd most passing yards, and they've allowed 12 touchdowns this season. Secondary is banged up. The whole defense has not looked right this season. And Andy Dalton's he's okay. I mean, he's looked decent. Olave's there. I think he'll have a nice game. Am I going to start him in a 12-teamer? No. But I think in a deep league or you need a player, I think he's going to be a decent play.
Dalton's so scary.
Yeah.
He's such a volume-based player, though, for fantasy. That's great. But at the same time, it's like, please don't throw 4 picks.
Yeah.
But even when he did against the Saints or against the Cardinals, he put up, 30?
That's what I'm saying. Like, in normal scoring formats, like we see it. You can throw a ton of picks and still come away with a good game.
Hit your worries about this week, because I think for a quarterback, who are your 2? I think you have 2 sits here.
Yeah, I do. Jared Goff.
Which is confusing me a little bit based on what you said about.
Yeah, A-Rod. I get it. I think it's going to be a lot of DeAndre Swift in this game. Jamal Williams. I think he's going to be okay, Jared Goff. but I don't anticipate like a 20-point game. So like Green Bay's allowed the fewest passing yards allowed in the entire league this season. That's huge. That's big. Like Amon-Ra for me, I'm scared. I'm playing him, but I'm scared to play him. Green Bay's defense against the pass, they're just very good.
And Swift is limited, which you could say either helps or forces the ball into Jared Goff's hand a little bit more. Jamal Williams has obviously been great. I don't know what to expect from Swift this week. I'm sure that's something that there's leagues where I'm benching him. I'm not trying to get off the topic of Jared Goff. Who's your other sit for QBs?
Turkey Tom Brady.
Turkey?
Yeah. I mean, I know people are still on this train for some reason, but he hasn't been good this season. Rams they've been really good against the pass lately, dude. The offense is it's lost. It seems lost. I know they had an okay game last week, but the Rams are giving up like the third fewest passing yards in the league. They're very good. They don't give a lot of touchdowns up through the air. Like, I just don't see a path for Tom Brady to have a good game.
Jimmy Garoppolo put 2 on him.
Yeah, I mean.
So what you're saying is
you have the best weapons in the game on your team.
Now, like when you say that Tom Brady's a bench, like I want to kind of pick your brain on some of the available players that I see. Flip to the other side, Matthew Stafford has been awful. Would you start him over Tom Brady? He's obviously going against Tampa Bay.
That's a good.
Last week was his second highest scoring game, but he also had a rushing touchdown. But again, against San Francisco.
I'd probably go Tom Brady there still. Stafford's been atrocious. Like, I don't know what it is. I still think it's the elbow. I really wanted to see last week coming off the bye, and it didn't do what I thought it was. So I'm still very nervous about him. Tampa's
San Francisco.
I know San Fran's very good. Tampa's defense it's decent this season. I'd probably go Tom Brady.
Would you go Mariota or Tom Brady?
Mariota.
One other person on here is Kirk Cousins against Washington.
Yes. Kirk's an easy play there for me.
All right. I think I'm not going to go Ellinger because that would be ballsy and not a great approach. All right. So back to best starts. Let's go over through some of these running backs that you have. I love the last one that I'm reading, but start off from the top. Actually, start from the bottom because let's talk about that one. Yeah.
Sure. We could get to that. Miles Sanders tonight against Houston. Houston allows the second most yards per carry. They've given up the most rushing touchdowns in the league. They're just not good against the run, man. And I think that
it's bad.
And then you also have to factor on the fact that they will probably be up a ton very quickly.
That's exactly like Miles Sanders should be getting probably 20 carries here.
He should get
which
a
is
ton
high
of
for
work.
him.
Yeah, he should get a ton of work this week.
My line, my take at the Miles Sanders game tonight is 130 and 2 tutties.
I can see
That's
it.
my call of the week.
Clear path
Not that it's
to
that
it.
Bold, I guess, but
it's bold.
Kind of is bold. Okay,
it's bold. No, it's bold.
That's
yeah. I just how bad the defense has been against the run, and the fact that they're probably going to be up a lot quickly. Look for Miles Sanders to have a big game.
I love that one. That is my favorite RB of the week. I'm not ranking him 1. Yeah, Eckler's going to get peppered with so many.
Yeah, he's going to get like 20 targets.
I consider Miles Sanders easy top 10 play this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's going to have a monster game.
All right, slide over to your next one. Go to that's an interdivision game. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, Aaron Jones against Detroit.
Like Thanksgiving preview.
It should be a Thanksgiving.
I feel like Detroit, they play often on Thanksgiving. It's just Detroit.
They do. I'd that'd be a good game on Turkey Day.
Everybody
Detroit's
be-
giving up the 4th most yards per carry, 13 touchdowns. I mean, they're just not good against the run. Like we've seen it this whole season. Teams just pick them apart. I also think Aaron Rodgers, again, he's going to have a big game, and I think Aaron Jones will be a part of that. I think he's going to have a very nice day through the ground and through the air. So I'm looking for a very, very good game from Aaron Jones this week.
I'm going to go back to the thought of you having Jared Goff as a sit. Still confuses me, but that's the only one that I've been hesitant about. Albert asks, Antonio Gibson a good start this week with McKissick likely out? I struggle. I'm going to answer, and then you could say yours, Rob. I struggle to say Antonio Gibson is ever a good start.
Yeah.
As of recently. I would, however, put this against people like, what am I trying to say? Like they play Minnesota. When you're looking at Antonio Gibson, you're looking at some sort of touchdown. I mean, the amount of work and the volume isn't there yet. You're hoping
this
that
week he could be the pass catching back.
Yeah.
So that helps. Brian Robinson has not been good. So Gibson could come back into the fold quickly. And this would be the game to do it. So I don't hate it. I'm starting him in a couple leagues just because it's bye week hell. I'm a little nervous, but I think there's a path to him having a very nice day. I'm not expecting anything crazy, but I think he can have a good day.
So I kind of want to pick your brain on this a little bit just to stay here because I want to do a little would you rather. Antonio Gibson or Eno Benjamin if James Conner is out. Eno Benjamin plays Seattle. Little other side note. Okay. Eno only had 9.5 against Seattle when James Conner was out.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Devin Singletary against the Jets or Antonio Gibson?
Gibson.
David Montgomery against Miami or Gibson?
We'll get there. But Gibson.
Kareem Hunt or
Gibson.
Kareem Hunt is going against.
I think
he's on a bye.
We
should know that.
I was gonna say I don't think he's playing, but
I was tricking you. Okay, last one here. Nope, he's on a bye as well. Najee Harris. So if you have Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, that's another.
It's a lot of buys, man. There's a lot of buys this week, and I think you could do a lot worse than Antonio Gibson.
Pollard, Zeke. All right. Well, then last question, and then we'll get you into just run with it. Mostert or Gibson?
Mostert, because he's on my list right here. Mostert for Chicago. I like the segue. Lost there.
I even tried to give you the hint.
I saw
just lead right into it.
I saw it, baby.
Duh.
So Mostert's going against Chicago this week. Chicago lost one of their best defensive linemen, and they just lost their best player on the defensive side of the ball, their play caller. They already allow the second most rushing yards in the league and 14 touchdowns total. Like, I'm expecting Mostert to have a huge day. Like, I'm talking top 10. Easily top 10 for me.
Ooh. So wait. Let me ask then. We talk about that game. You said Chicago's defense is terrible against the run.
Yes.
They just traded for a guy that is very familiar with the system, familiar with the coach, familiar with playing behind Mostert. I'm not saying it's going to take away, but like if you're super deep, 16 team, 14 team,
sure.
Can Jeff Wilson slide into a flex here?
I mean, if you're super desperate in a 16 teamer, yeah, like sure. But
you don't think he gets many touches? What's your
week?
What do you think this week? How many touches? 7?
5 or 6.
I think we could be shocked.
Also depends on how much if they go up a ton. You know, like if they're up a ton quick, he might put him in there just to get him acclimated to the offense, the offensive line, the scheme calls, the quarterback, all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, you throw him in week 1, like I can't expect him to get a ton of touches.
I do think this is the most different trade situation in the mid-season.
I get what you're saying.
this was his coach.
It's
This
fair.
was the rush game coordinator.
It's still, I get what you're saying. I'm sure the scheme's very similar, if not the same. I'm sure the play calls, terminology, that kind of stuff, I don't know. It might be a little different. There's a lot that kind of goes into that sort of stuff that it takes a little bit. I mean, it's also like, how when checks happen with your quarterback, that kind of stuff, like, can he pick that up quickly this week for him to be able to play a big amount?
And I think obviously Mostert is the guy here in this offense in general, but I don't think they want to feed him over 20 times a game. And I think this is the reason they went and got Jeff Wilson.
Well, we talked about that Tuesday. I have serious fears moving forward for Mostert because of that. I think this might be a play to save Mostert for the playoffs. Like, that's kind of my fear. This could be this backfield could quickly become a 50-50. Mostert starts getting 12 touches a game just to save him for the playoffs. Like, that's a real possibility.
I want to make one more point. Latavius Murray came into an offense that he was not familiar with at all and played, I would say, probably after 8 days.
I mean, we've never seen something like that, though.
He had 11 carries that first time. We have. AP used to do it all the time. I felt like he did it a couple times.
Run up the middle, kid.
All right. So some of your RB sits. Yeah. I love how you have these labeled.
Yes. It's more of a group effort is what we're talking about. As a collective, I'm sitting every Kansas City running back. Tennessee's defense, like, they're terrible through the air, but they're actually very good against the run.
They are.
I believe third fewest rushing yards in the league. They don't give up a lot of touchdowns on the ground.
I'm not kidding with you, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
I literally think that they're like, okay, we're playing the best RB in practice every day, because I think they're pretty good against the run often, and they know how to run the ball. So they're like, this is what we need to do to stop it. I swear that's how Vrabel coaches.
I'm sure it helps having that kind of guy. I mean, doesn't help the Browns, but whatever.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Tennessee's defense is great against the run. There's still no clear path to what running back is doing what on that game.
No, it is straight three-headed monster, and they came out saying that today. I can never say Eric Bieniemy's last. I can never say it right. Bieniemy. He came out today saying Pacheco's the starter, but we're going to be using him all. It was like something very much like that.
It's not. Yeah, I'm not touching him.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough for the rest of the season if you had Clyde and you were loving weeks 1 through 4.
100%. I think he's tapering off. They like Pacheco, but Pacheco, like, he's droppable at this point. He's not producing. I digress. Let's go on to the next topic.
Jared McKinnon might be the most valuable.
Yeah, you're right.
Just because the pass.
You're right. So for my second group of running backs that I'm completely sitting is the Chicago Bears running back room.
Come on.
Same as Tennessee, dude. Miami's really good against the run. They just got one of the best defensive linemen in the league. He's not going to
go out there, though.
He'll be out there.
You think so?
Yes.
I was watching Inside the NFL, and they talked about, I think it was Inside the NFL, or no, it was the New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers. And they talked about how edge is one of the positions that you could kind of just jump right into. It was RB. Yeah. They said RB. They were talking about CMC at the time.
That's interesting. For me, yeah, defensive wise, like, that's that and defensive tackle, that might be the easiest kind of position just to hop on, and you do your job. You set the line, you set the corner, and if it's you call whatever kind of coverage, and you either go with the quarterback, you defend the run. Like, there's not much to it. So he should be in there quickly, and he is top 5, I believe, defensive ends against the run. So, like,
when he plays,
he's very good. He's very good. The backfield's getting muddier by the week, and Miami's offense is one of the best in the league, so they're going to put up a ton of points. When that happens, you stop running the ball. So, why I'm high on Justin Fields is why I'm low on these running backs.
interesting. They also said that O-line was one of the hardest positions to hop right in
100%.
because it could ruin the chemistry a little bit. But
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey, a center, was like, yeah, if they have questions, you're like, you point and say right there. That's who you're blocking. Thought it was pretty
Yeah. I think chemistry on the offense line is huge, to be honest. Like, I think that's a
These guys-
very underestimated part of the line.
They're making a Christmas album. Did you see that?
Who, the Kelsey brothers?
No, Jason Kelsey. I can't say his last name. Jordan Matata, I think is how you say it. And Lane. Can't think of his-
Yeah.
Lane Johnson. I
Lane
think?
Johnson. Yeah.
They're the three of them they're making a. It's made. It releases this year, and I think all their benefits are going to like kids in Philadelphia without Christmas presents or something like that. So it's for a good cause, and they're literally singing on it. But I think the two can sing. Kelsey's like, I can't sing. I'm just
He's such a goof. Both of the Kelsey brothers.
Really cool episode. Real cool show. Real cool podcast show. All right, hit some of these wide receivers. I'm killing our time.
Yeah, you are killing me here.
You're gonna have to go a little quicker.
Okay. I talked to you about this before we started. Tyler Boyd. I'm big on Tyler Boyd this week. He's going against Carolina. JC Horn's going to be locked up on T. Higgins probably most of the day. The rest of the secondary is kind of dinged up. Carolina has been scoring some points too, so since he's going to have to throw the ball a little bit. Coming off a long week, they should get things kind of back in order after that terrible Browns game. Also, Joe Burrow, after that week, dude, he's probably going to come out and try to prove a point. So I'm looking for Tyler Boyd to be the guy this week.
This is a player that you convinced me to put in my lineup for DFS. I am excited I think Joe is going to come out firing away too. I think a lot of people are wondering, like, does this offense just lost a step without Chase? Which of course it did. I think that goes without saying, right? Like, we know that this offense ain't the same without I hate this phrase, generational talent on the outside. But this defense is definitely one that is open to just getting torn up. The Saints destroyed them in week 3. Even the Rams had a decent day in week 6. So like, they did pretty well against the Buccaneers though. But missed connections though. I mean, remember the Mike Evans blown up play? He dropped it. Like there's opportunity here, and Tyler Boyd's good enough to take advantage of that. Who is your next one?
I hate saying it. Juju Smith-Schuster.
He's turning up, dude.
He has been. He's been very nice recently. And I talked about it a little bit ago. Tennessee's defense is bottom of the barrel against the pass game. So Patty Mahomes is going to be, I think it's going to be a ton of Kelsey, and I think it's going to be a ton of Juju Smith. He's starting to become that guy there. So when that happens and Patty Mahomes knows it and they got a secondary that they can exploit, look for Juju to have a big game this week.
You know, I think, and I don't think any of us called for this. I considered it on an episode with House, and I think I was just like, I don't know. This was like a prime buy low, dude, Juju. First 5 weeks of the season, 8. These are his target marks: 8, 3, 8, 8, 8. Dude was just getting loaded with targets. Last 2, 5, 8. But the last 2, he's also had his yards per target is up 15.5 and 22.6 compared to his highest being in week 3 at 11.13. So not only do I think he's starting to understand the playbook, because it's a complex playbook running under Andy Reid's scheme, but they're using him different. And now this is going to spread out their offense even more. And I think this was kind of all part of Reid's plan. I think we're going to look back and be like, damn, this was the best buy low candidate, because I think he finishes pretty solid this year, maybe top 15.
I'm with you. I think, as much as I hate saying it, like, I think he's going to have a very, very good second half. We'll see what happens with Kadarius Toney. Like, if that kind of cuts into it, because it very well could. Maybe he comes out hot, gains the trust of Patty Mahomes, and they use him in creative ways, and he's kind of that Tyreek Hill-esque player. Maybe that's why they traded for him, because they couldn't trust Juju to be that guy. But I still think Juju's producing at a very good level right now. And this, again, the secondary is just not good. So I'm in on him this week.
Hit you another wide receiver here.
Romeo Dobbs. Talked about him earlier.
Dobbs.
Detroit. A-Rod's one of my QB plays. They're starting to gain a very good connection. They're starting to trust each other. And I think this is the game that we can see him take a big step forward in his career. Like, this could be, we look back at the end of the season and look at this game and be like, oh, this is what catapulted him and Aaron Rodgers into being what they can be.
I think I'm with you. I'm definitely on the Dobbs train. I really think he's a pretty solid receiver, and everything about this game is saying that it should be relatively close. I mean, Detroit is getting +3.5. The over under is 49.5. So they're expecting this, 24-21, a little more,
Probably
27-24, right around there. 20,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But if it doesn't, and if Green Bay comes out smoking, this play goes, unless he's involved early, if Green Bay comes out and destroys Detroit,
lights it up.
Yeah, because like there's some things here that you're saying makes you wonder, like, is this that if Jared Goff is going to have a bad game, what does that mean for Detroit? So it's a little bit
fine.
scary.
Even if Romeo Dobbs if they come out hot and like light it up in the first half, I'm expecting Dobbs to be a huge part of that, which at the end of the day, that's going to catapult him up to, he'll be fine even with that. Like, he's going to be a good play.
And they're very much
point.
Yeah, and they're very much like the type of team, like they're not Philly, they're not Kansas City, they're not Buffalo. They don't just keep piling it on. Like if they're up 28-3 at half, you're going to see AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. Mostly probably Aaron Jones, the way we've been seeing it. Hit another wide receiver here.
Devin Duvernay.
Dude,
one of the questions from earlier. Yeah. He's going to be the main target there. Is Andrews still dinged up? Is he
Andrews
practicing yet?
Practice today.
Didn't practice. And even
Bateman is out.
Even if Andrews is back, we'll get to kind of the tight ends later, but every Baltimore Raven tight end I am sitting this week, because if I can, if you have Mark Andrews and he's starting, it's very difficult to sit him at this point. You can't really sit him. But I'm saying don't expect a big game, because New Orleans is the best against tight ends in the league. Like, there's no debate. They just clamp down on tight ends. So look for Duvernay to be probably the only viable pass catching option for Lamar Jackson. They're going to try to find creative ways like they did last week to get him the ball. They might do some jet sweeps, some end around stuff like that. And he's a dynamic player when he's got the ball in his hands. So I know New Orleans defense is pretty good, but I still think Duvernay is going to have a good game.
I love that one. I love Duvernay. I hope you have him on your bench. This podcast has talked about Duvernay probably way too much. Hit some of these benches that you have. We're going to skip your deeper one.
I talked about him earlier anyways.
Wide receivers.
Gabe Davis. I'm sitting him this week. Diggs is so good that you can't afford to sit him. Like, he's the best, one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's making a case to be the best wide receiver in the league. But the Jets secondary might be the best tandem cornerbacks in the league right now. They are just clamping down on every receiver. So I still think Diggs is going to have a good game, but look for Gabe Davis to struggle in this one.
So Sauce corner shadow coverage a lot? Because I think he does.
Even if he does.
But he would be on Diggs. That means
he'll be on Diggs. That's fine.
Reed would be on
Reed
Davis
is a monster.
Okay.
Yeah, Reed's a monster. So, yeah. Gabe Davis, you can sit the pine today, buddy.
Who's your next one?
Chris Godwin. I know there's some temptation to play him after last week. He had a decent game. But the Rams secondary is it's too good.
there's going to be a blow-up game from Godwin and probably Tom Brady. I understand where you're coming from here.
Maybe. But I don't think it's this week.
This is scary. This is risky business here.
It ain't Detroit.
Who's your last one?
Garrett Wilson. He had a very nice game last week. Yeah, just don't do it against Buffalo. That's kind of all I got to say. Don't play him. Don't trust him. Don't trust any receiver on the Jets. But I know Garrett Wilson's might be kind of tickling you to put you in. And just don't do it. I almost said something bad there.
I have a play from that game that it might be a little bit surprising. We'll talk about it on the DFS plays. But go to your starts tight ends.
Gerald Everett. I think it's the easiest call of the week to play. He's going to be the number one option besides Austin Eckler. He's going to be the number one option for Justin Herbert. So I'm expecting him to get a ton of targets and a ton of red zone targets. So look for him to have a monster game. Do you want me to roll through or you want to chime in?
I love the Gerald Everett play. He was very close to being my DFS play, but the DFS lineup that I'm going to give later today is kind of more suited towards bigger tournaments. So I didn't want the popular play here. I think Gerald Everett is going to be locked and loaded in a lot of lineups, and rightfully so. He should probably see 8 to 10 targets this week.
100%. Yeah. Tight end 2, Robert Tonyan. We've talked about him a little bit against Detroit again. Tonyan's been getting hit with a ton of targets, and he's very, very good he's been very good this season against bad defenses. So I'm looking for another pretty solid day from Robert Tonyan.
I still think there's upside that he hasn't tapped into.
100%. He's coming off an injury.
I know, and I think like we're still not quite there yet. And the injury happened, I think, right around week 8 last year, week 6 to week 8, somewhere in there.
If I'm a dynasty buyer, like I'm trying to get Tonyan.
For different reasons, I'm out on Tonyan because I think this team becomes a mess if they miss playoffs. I talked about it with Cody last night. I think this team.
That's true. Aaron Rodgers could head out and
he could be like, I'm done.
Which I have a ton of Jordan Love. So if that happens, I could have. It could be worse for me.
They'll just end up getting the Kentucky QB, and you're gonna be like, oh,
we've seen it time and again. Whatever. I mean, history says something different.
Hit me with this one because this one's probably the most surprising.
Yeah,
maybe in your whole list. Come on, Rob. What are you doing?
I don't know why my phone just did that, but it's interesting. This is kind of a deeper one as well. Noah Fant going against Arizona. Arizona's given up the second most points to opposing tight ends in the league, and they've given up the most receptions to tight ends in the league at like 58. They're just terrible against the tight end. So I think Noah Fant benefits. They've been trying to get him a little bit more involved in this offense, and I think this could be a week where he takes a big step forward in this offense. Kind of takes that full starter role over.
I don't know. He hasn't really shown up. Like, this one's like such a long shot. So it's fine. Like you're saying, here's a nice fill in for you. But like the dude has had double-digit fantasy points, and I'm looking at this from a tight end premium standpoint. No, he had it anyways. In week 6 against the Arizona Cardinals.
So call me crazy.
6 for 45 was his line. So I mean, are you going higher than that? Are you taking the over on a 6 for 45 line?
I'll take the over and a tutty.
So right around there with a touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you're not going to get 100 yards or anything like that, but I think 5 to 6 catches, around 50 yards, and probably a touchdown. And that's a very good game for a tight end.
Hit your last one here.
Evan Ingram. He's just good. He's just good. He's demanding a lot more of this offense, he's getting targeted a lot more. And I think Christian Kirk is in the slot a ton, and he's starting to get focused on by the other defenses, leaving Evan Ingram on a big mismatch. So the way this offense is set up currently and how defenses are reacting to how this offense plays, I think Evan Ingram is the benefit of that.
I'm big on Evan Ingram as well this week. You'll hear more from me here shortly when we get to our DFS plays. But go ahead and hit that sit. Those sit.
I said it earlier, Baltimore tight ends. If you have Mark Andrews, he's playing, you probably can't sit him. I wouldn't trust it just because of the injuries, and you're going up against the best defense against tight ends in the league. Like, no debate. New Orleans, I can fade everyone.
Okay, so let's look at this then, and be 100% honest here. You have Mark Andrews, right? Okay. And you have Gerald Everett on your bench.
Gerald Everett.
Who do you go? You have Robert Tonyan on your bench.
I go Mark Andrews, but
it's just because of loyalty.
Loyalty. Personally, I mean, it's a tough question, right? Like, that's a hard one. If you ask me who's going to come up with more points this week, I'm going to say Tonyan. But
you still don't bench Andrews because you're scared.
The upside of Andrews is so hard to sit. Like, Andrews is just, he's the best, one of the best top 2 in the league tight ends. But
yeah,
I don't think he's going to have a good game this week. So I think Tonyan comes away with more points, and I still play Andrews. It's weird, right?
Noah Fant.
Same thing. Like, I think Fant is going to have more points than Andrews this week.
If he plays, of course.
If he plays.
And Evan Ingram.
Yeah, Evan Ingram.
You'd start Evan Ingram.
Yeah, it'd be so hard to start him. I think he comes. I'm just gonna say this. I think Evan Ingram has more points than whatever tight end lines up against New Orleans this week.
Do you have Mark Andrews in a league?
No.
Damn. I wanted a screenshot.
I have Likely.
I have Likely starting in some lineups.
I wouldn't start him this week, dude.
I know, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna roll the dice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some of our DFS plays. Do you have your lineup ready?
Yeah. Give me.
Or did you do it? If you didn't do it, I have a lineup. I'll start with mine.
You go. Go ahead.
I'm triple stack. So I play on DraftKings. I don't do the Robbie Bobby FanDuel. I shouldn't say that. If you guys want to sponsor us. No, I'm kidding.
They're listening.
Yeah, I do use DraftKings. So all of my salaries are going to be DraftKings, even though I think if I just named them off, you could figure it out either platform. I'm going with QB Trevor Lawrence here. Going against Las Vegas. I am thinking that this no, it's fine. I am thinking that this game is the shootout of the week. So you're going to hear some themes in my lineup. My lineup's built very much for a big tournament. I think this is the shootout of the week. It's 45 over under, which is not even the most as far as points. But I think this is it, dude. I think Las Vegas is playing for their life, and I think Trevor Lawrence is hearing some blowback of how bad he's been playing. Not only that, the dude kind of sneaks into the end zone quite a bit. So if they're going against a crappy defense and they get down to the 2 to the 1, we're going to see Trevor Lawrence bulldoze his way right through that line. I triple stacked him, so I'm going to jump on. He was 5,200. I triple stacked him. I did Christian Kirk for 5,500. Obviously, if Trevor Lawrence, if I'm thinking this is going to be a shootout, Christian Kirk, I need you to get open, man. He's playing out of the slot. Las Vegas ain't very good against the slot. Their defense is just bad in general. And then I come, and he was 5,500, come back with an Evan Ingram at 3,300. You taught it. He's a beast. He's been getting just, let me have the target number here. He has had, in the past 4 weeks, 29 targets.
Wow.
I expect this to keep up. Again, the Raiders are terrible against pretty much every position, but they're 30th against the tight end. So there's my triple stack from Jacksonville's side. But I even want to come back here. Let's say Las Vegas is leading this game and Jacksonville's kind of playing from behind, still high scoring. I got Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams. Josh Jacobs, 7,300. Devontae Adams, obviously expensive, 8,100. Both of them are pretty expensive. If this game is as high scoring as I'm expecting, that means Devontae is going to be doing a lot of work early on. We close it with Josh Jacobs. I also believe Las Vegas to look at Josh Jacobs and see the lack of production last week and go, oh, we win when we give him the ball. We win when we get him rolling. They do. I think they're 2-1 out of his 3 monster games. Here's the tricky one, Rob, and you might have to talk me out of this one. Maybe I need it. I think this is my hesitant play, but Michael Carter is my RB2 at 5,500. My thoughts.
Who are they going against?
Buffalo.
Oh,
So if they go down from Buffalo, we're going to need to pass the ball. Buffalo doesn't allow passing, especially not to Zach Wilson. What's Zach Wilson going to do? Check down quite a bit. I think Michael Carter gets in this game quite often and early on. I think he ends up seeing somewhere between 6 to hopefully 10 targets. I know that's crazy. I know 10 is on the crazy side, but I do think Michael Carter has a huge role this week because they're going to be down and he's going to be playing and getting dumped off to quite a bit. My last wide receiver, Tyler Boyd at 6,300. Spoke about it. Going against Carolina. He should be a wide open. Flex play. You ready for this one? I switched from Josh Palmer to this one because of you. Romeo Doubs.
yeah, way better.
He's 5,300. Detroit defense is so bad, and if this game is even remotely what Rob is saying, then we're in good shape there. My defense, I went with Chargers. Defense is tough this week.
It is.
It's real tough.
It is. That's why I spent on them.
I'm going Chargers. They play in Atlanta. I don't buy the Marcus Mariota love. I know he's been great. Cards are going to collapse soon. That house of cards is coming down. That's my squad, Rob. Go ahead with yours.
Yeah.
You have the visual. You make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I did. I'm just trying to help the people out, help out the squad. So we're going with Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. Talked about him a ton. I think this is the game we're going to see some big strides for him this season. Running back 1, Raheem Mostert, 6,500 against Chicago. He's gonna eat him apart. Like I'm just sold on him as being a top 10 RB this week. He can finish as RB1. I wouldn't be surprised. My big play of the week is Austin Eckler, 9,400. Again, I think he might get 15 targets. Like it's a real possibility this week. He's their best offensive weapon, and they are going to feature him this game against a terrible defense. So it wins both ways. Wide receiver, I'm going DeAndre Carter against Atlanta, $5,500. I think he's going to be the main receiver for Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a very good day. I think it's going to be a rough day for Atlanta. Romeo Doubs, you just talked on him, $6,100. I'm all in this week. I think this is going to be the week he takes a big step forward, and he could have a monster day. Tyler Boyd, we have some similar players, $6,900. You spoke on it. Like I just think this is the week Joe Burrow is going to try to put up a ton of points after being kind of embarrassed last week. And I think
Why don't you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Why don't you go the triple stack here on your next player?
Gerald Everett.
Yeah, why don't you go triple stack?
Triple stack. Gerald Everett. My tight end. I threw this together earlier. I would consider Tunyon or Evan Ingram. Like I like the Evan Ingram call. I think that's a good call.
I think if you go Tunyon though, man, you got the Aaron Rodgers stack with it, and then you got Dobbs and Tunyon.
Yeah.
If you expect him big.
I might flip that out to Tunyon, and then that would probably save me a little bit of money to maybe upgrade DeAndre Carter or even Travis Etienne as my flex. So I got Travis Etienne at the flex. You talked about it. You think it's going to be a high scoring game. I do too. And I think Travis Etienne has been unbelievable the past 3 weeks. I don't see any reason why it's going to stop against a terrible Las Vegas defense. Look for him to have a good day. And then I'm going with the Patriots against Indianapolis this week. They're starting Sam Ehlinger. The Patriots and Bill Belichick, they know how to stop these
First-year starters.
First-year starters. Even, I mean, it's their first game coming in against the Patriots. The Patriots defense has been very good lately. I think it's going to be a very, very tough day for the Colts as a whole. So look for them to put up some nice points against a young quarterback.
Robbie, what we need to do, and just because I doubt there's any huge scoring differences, but going forward, we'll have to do this. And if you agree, of course,
Who wins?
I'll do your lineup for $1 on my side. You do my lineup for $1 on your side. Because I don't know if there's scoring differences. That's why I say that. I don't think there is, but we'll do it that way, and we'll both get invested in each other's lineups. But there will be also a competition. We'll see who wins this week.
Okay, I can't wait to make some money.
On mine.
Can we wager?
We could wager.
$5. $5
Yeah.
at the end of the year.
We could do a pool, like
Who has the
$5
most?
weekly. Yeah.
Hey, I'm fine for that.
You know what I mean? Like we'll do it each week, $5 weekly.
I'm in.
All right.
Sign me up.
All right. We'll have to send each other's lineups here shortly and get those inputted. I'll do $1 if you do $1.
I can
and
do
we'll
that.
Get them on their each other's respectable, terrible platforms. Is that it, man? You got any last thoughts? You ready for week 9? You ready for tonight's game?
I'm excited for tonight. I love watching Philly play. Everyone knows how big of a fan I am of Dameon Pierce. So this is like I'm a
Poor
kid in a
guy.
candy store tonight. Is
Poor
Brandon
Dame.
Cooks out? Did they call it?
Yep.
So he's
Dame's
not playing.
done.
No Nico Collins.
Dame is screwed.
So they have. And I wrote this down. I thought I wrote this in the notes. I did. Chris Moore might be.
He said it. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Chris Moore is what he just said.
Chris Moore.
Cut you off.
Yes.
Yep.
Chris Moore, I think he's going to be the pass catcher in this offense tonight. If you need a very, very late minute filler and you got nobody for bye weeks. So
I'll put him in my
Maybe
DFS.
maybe a 16-teamer.
Twitter, if you're not already following us at DadBodFS, we'll post videos on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook at DadBod Fantasy Squad, and then Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Robbie?
All the other major streaming platforms.
For myself, for Robbie, peace. Enjoy your Thursday.